Hey everyone, Nick Hayden here with another Codercise video for you. We're continuing our look at Strapi headless CMS, combining that with a React build. Last time we went through, we were creating our routing for our front end website. So you can see here we've got home, about, and contact. So we set that routing up last time. And over in our content management system in Strapi, we created a site element which had a logo, a few other things in here too. You can see we've got our logo up in our navigation. I can't remember if it was the last video or the one before, we were also setting up styled components, bringing that into our application. You can see here we've got a navigation styles with a few different things going on in it. Today we're going to be looking at, oops, sorry, I'm just clicking around too much in my notes. So this time we'll be creating a flexible content modules. And we'll be creating a couple of different ones. So we'll be creating, I guess, if we look at, I guess who's a good site to look at. I always go to Tilda, so we'll have a look over here. So they've got this kind of nice quote entry block, a couple of logos, a what we do block, which has got an image, a title, text, and a link. So something like this would be a really good little place to start. I think our first component, we'll be looking at creating something like this. So we've got an image, title, and some text. And then the user is able to add as many of these as they want. So let's hop straight in. We're going to be creating a new content types builder. We'll be creating a new content type. We've done this a couple of times now, so let's give it a go. It'll be a new, I think it's going to be a new component. We'll call this maybe text image block. Page component. What can we do here? We can create new categories. Collection types, new component types. Maybe that's under settings. So if you haven't watched one of these videos before, I do recommend you go back and check out some of the previous videos where we've gone through, we've explored Strapi, how it works, what it's up to, and then yeah, we've kind of been playing around, seeing what's in there, reading the documentation together. It's been good. It's a good little tool. Something that I think I'm looking at using probably in the workplace. I've got a related pages component. Grade component, art settings. Ah, cool. Content modules. Okay. The text image block. Flexible content modules. We're going to create that category. I don't know if there's going to be anything down here. Maybe like that. That's probably a good icon for it. We still get this error. The value not matched the regex. I actually submitted a pull request to fix this. It was merged in. I guess what happens is there's a regex behind this that we are meant to be matching. It just doesn't actually tell us that. We go flexible content modules. Create it like that. It's probably better. Continue. Yep. This is going to be a component, I guess. What have I just created? Flexible content modules, text image block. Okay, it's got no fields. So looking back over at Tilda, we've got a title, content, and an image. So we're going to have a title, which will be a short text, we're going to have rich text, which will be our content. Actually, I'm going to change that. That's not going to be rich text, just going to be other text. We'll use long text. I don't think we need to do do we? Titles, names, links. Also enables exact search. We'll go long text. Content. Then we're going to have media, which will be image. It's going to be single media. Cool. I'm also going to put in, I wonder if, I was going to put in an image alt tag, but I wonder if it would be better to, I wonder if it actually gives us that already. I need to save my layout, error occurred. I think there's still probably a lot of stuff in Strapi that would be good to fix. Is there an error in the console? Network error? Did this thing crash? We've had trouble in the last couple of episodes where we have, it shuts down, it reboots your entire app every time you create a new field or something. That's a post error. Bad request. Let's refresh the page, see if that fixes it. No, I lost everything. Great. Like, that's a pretty crappy experience, isn't it? So I'm going to create a new component, flexible. I'll put text, image, component, and it goes into flexible content modules. That was my icon. Continue. Great. Okay, we've got this one. Please save your work before creating a new collection type. I would love to save my work. How do I do that though? Save? Okay. I've saved it. Now it's rebooting. Can I rename this? No space. Oh, pretty. That's not very nice, is it? But that's alright. So we had a title. We're just going to quickly recreate this again. Text, long text. Content. And we're going to do image, which was media, single media. Image, finish, save. It's going to reboot the whole application, which we've done a couple of times now. Cool. If I refresh the page, I'll be really upset if that deleted it. It didn't. Great. So if I come back up to pages, or content type builder, I've got page over here. I'm going to add another field. Groups of fields that you can repeat or reuse. This is cool. So what we're going to do is add another field. It's going to be a component. Ooh, dynamically pick components. What's a dynamic zone field? Let's have a quick Google, hey. Strapi dynamic zone field. Rich layouts. Rich layout pages or complex data structures on the fly with dynamic zones. Create components and reuse them in the same or different content types. Okay, what are we doing? Be able to build dynamic pages. It's often very helpful to create sections such as sliders and quotes or data structures such as meta fields, so you can reuse them whenever needed. It's now possible with dynamic zones. Most flexible way. New data structure, components. Components allow you to create nested fields. Yep, we've done that. Repeat this data structure to build arrays, or you reuse this data structure across multiple content types. It sounds like exactly what I want. So build a blog post data structure with dynamic zones. Have a look. They create our components, they create sliders. Meta component, quote component, slider component. Yeah, they're doing the content type builder. Speed it up. Okay. Create some fields. Relation, okay. So it's already created his other field. What's it doing next? Saves it. So let's just try it and see what happens. Flexible content modules. Finish. Yep, of course. Flexible content modules. Finish. Oh my goodness. Lowercase. Wow, what the heck? That'd be one word. Okay. I'm going to reuse everything in flexible content modules. I'm going to save it, which is going to restart everything. So I'll go back to my pages now. What have I got? Ah, cool. I've got a little plus button now. Text image. Right, this is amazing. Look at this. Look at this. This would be great. Alright. 1 second. Just going to pull up some photos, so I need to go through my, my photos, which, here we go. Can't have you guys seeing. So I'm also going to open up Postman, which I was using for work. So once again, you're going to get the loading screen for a minute. Alright, so this looks like we're able to just kind of drop as many of these components up and down the page as we want, which is really cool. Really, really cool. I'm just opening up Postman. So if I do a request to this one, yeah. Let's just pop open. Okay, I can go back to screen capture. Here we go. Just needed to look to see. Okay, it was capital H. Just wanted to make sure. So over here, I've called up Postman. Once again, we're hitting localhost, pages, handle equals home. And we've got our data back. Down here, we've got our flexible content modules array. So I'm going to add a flexible content module in here. So we're going to call this like, what should I call it? Let's call it like, so we're doing the Codercise marketing website. Learn online. Grab some, just enter some content. So Codercise is an online series of videos exploring different technologies and what they can offer us. We take a fun educational tour of different platforms, programming languages, and development environments to see, just to learn how new technology can help us in our work and play environments. I mean, that's some great copywriting there. We can add this great honk the planet image. So I'm going to upload that asset to the library, finish, save it. I'm going to make that request with Postman again. Ah, look at this. And now I've got my flexible content modules in here. So we've already been collecting data using React and pulling in some information here. So we were using those related pages widget before. And in Strapi, that was just this module here. So about contact, which is really good. That's pretty cool. So now I'm going to make a new div, because I reckon we can get this content straight onto the page pretty quickly. So here we'll just say div class name equals flexible content modules there. Great. We're going to say page flexible, I think it was capitals. Oops. We should be able to see it actually in the page now, using dev tools as well, which might be a good idea before we start trying to render it. Components. There's our page content, we've got state, flexible content modules, there we go. How cool, it even gives us which component it is. That's really useful. So we'll probably use that __ component value to render out different components based on what they are. This might actually be a shorter video today, which would be pretty nifty. We might not go for the full hour. So we have this, so flexible content modules, it's an array. So I'm going to say, I guess, if its length is greater than 0, then do something, otherwise just return empty string, or null, I guess. Great. I'll probably change that to be null as well. I don't think it's going to break anything. And what we'll do here is, once again, we're just going to grab this map function. So here, it's an array. I'm going to say content module. We'll just call it that. I need to close that function. Now we need a return value in here. We'll just say, what was it? It was a title. So that content module dot title. Is that going to work? Save it. Yep, didn't work. Unexpected token. We can wrap in the divs, I guess. Save it. Load it. Nope. What am I doing wrong? Can't read property length and undefined. We don't need length, we just need to check that it's there. The reason for that is pages are initially set to an empty object. Great, we need key prop as well. So for this, we'll just call it like, put the index in as well. What can I call it? Does it have an index from Strapi maybe? ID, it's got an ID. So if we call it like maybe underscore component and then ID. Jeez, maybe. Call it index for now, I guess. I want to see what that returns first. I don't think link. It's under the page content. We'll just say test, just to see if it's rendering on the page at all. Yeah, there it is. Great. Components, we're going to select this guy. He's still in page content. And then we'll put links underneath. Title. How did I make this thing? I guess what's clear to say here is we are not worried about the front end of this site right now. This series of videos is an exploration of Strapi and not necessarily a look into Create React app or anything like that. We trust that Create React app and React in general work. There's nothing kind of new or exciting in that, at least for this series of videos. And what's key here, and what's the thing that I wanted to explore, was using Strapi as a headless CMS and seeing what it could do. So here we don't have our value. We need to figure out what the heck it's called. Capital T for title. That's when I was going wrong. There we go. Get rid of the junk. Great. We can use index. What did I say we would use? What else I want to look at is, I'll look at a couple of values here I want to look at. Content module dot underscore component. I think this is something that is going to be useful for us. Oops, I've left that key empty, so we're going to do content module component content module dot ID. I think that's a good key for us. Yeah, look at this. This is pretty cool. What's really cool about this is because we have this component, it's telling us what category we're in Strapi, and then it's telling us what that component is. We'll be able to do, I guess, like a massive switch statement where for each content module, check its component type. If its component type is text image component, load that React component. If it is an image block component, load that. And we can really go down go through the list and have a really nice way to kind of render everything out. We won't do that just yet. What we're going to do is build out this one first text image block, and then we'll go ahead and start adding in some extra bits. So back over in Postman, we've got our image as well. And here's the URL of it. So what's that under? That is image URL. So I'll make a image source equals content module dot image props.url. I've done something wrong here. Is error tone? Oh. There we go. That's better. Does this work? Doesn't work. That was because we did this last time. I think our page container it was for the logo. Or is that navigation? There we go. So we just have to append the Strapi path. I think I mentioned this last time. If we were doing this for real, we might put that into something like S3. But for now, we'll just stick with going to Strapi, and it's all on localhost anyway, so not too much to worry about at this point. Here. Oops. Something like this. There we go. Big image. Huge image. Oh cool, we've kind of got our first little component. Let's turn this into a styled component. So under components we'll have text image block. We're going to have text image block.js. If you're wondering why I'm naming them the same, you can go back and watch a couple of the other videos where I've covered off on sort of my philosophy there. I'll just comment that out for now. This is going to be called text image block. It takes in some props. We'll just have a HTML from over here that we were grabbing before. Great, this is going to get exported now over there. We're going to import it here. Text image block. And then in here it'll be text image block component equals, I'm going to call it component. Content module. I think I can actually just do that. Let's have a look. Content module is not defined. Isn't it? There we go, look at that. Does this work? Content module is not defined. Oh, of course, because I'm in here. So it's going to be, instead of content module here, we're going to swap this out for props. New error. Can't read property URL of undefined. You know what? Let's just get rid of this for now. And we'll come down to wherever it is and let's just check out what is in here. I also wanted to see if that worked, or if it's just going to give me a boolean. Yeah, just boolean. So it's got content module, sort of props.content module. So just going to grab this, we'll do a quick find and replace. Another issue, content module with undefined. Line 6. Oh, so I've got props. I've probably done that the wrong way there. Oh, here we go. Back to where we wanted to be. I should probably do something like content module equals props. Content module. can just copy that. You can undo all of this. Boop, boop, boop. I can do that instead. I think this should work. Yep, there we go. I mean, I'm going through some of this stuff pretty quickly, but if you're new to JavaScript or React in general, I recommend just having a look at a couple of the things that I'm doing. So like here, I'm pulling off the content module out of the props object, which is different than if I got rid of those curlies. Then that's saying content module equals props. This one is saying get the content module value out of the props object, which lets me use it like this, which I think is a bit nicer. Saving myself writing props every time. Cool. So let's create some styles for this guy now. There'll be text, image, block, styles, JS. Just grab this import that we were messing around with last week. So it'll be text, image, block, styled. It's going to be a styled div. That's just what we need for now. I'm going to grab this value, put that one there like this, and then we're replacing that div with this guy, and we should get exactly the same result again. Right. Oh, it's just huge now because of the existing styles. So we'll quickly go through this. We'll quickly add some CSS in. So it's going to be display flex. You can have align items, flex start. Just define content is going to be flex start as well, I think. Yep, we're going to have const image container, it's going to be a style div. Here, this is also going to be display flex. This one needs to be width 100% and also flex flow row no wrap. For mobile, you would change that to column or flex wrap. So that's going to be flex as well. It would be like 33 to 66 or something. So flex basis 33%. We're going to have const text container. It's going to be a style div again. Also display flex. I'll just copy this. Right. Let's check export some of these guys. Is that what I did elsewhere? Oops, that's fine. What did I do on some of these ones? Okay, I did. Do export in front of all of them. I mean, I think that makes sense. If you're doing just one value, sure. But if you're doing a lot of different things, then you probably just want to be pulling them all out. Makes sense to me. There we go, drop that guy down. Copy this one out over here. Then we have a text container. back over here. Cool. We got this. We need to get rid of that component and instead put in our content module content, which will be like this. Great. This should be maybe like a, what should it be? I guess it can just be like a, title text. We'll just leave it as a paragraph tag for now. Content text. Drop them up there. Cool. Coming back to our styles. These should all be text align left. This one will just make like the font size. What would a tilde do if we're using their sort of thing? What have they got? 24 point, what's that in pixels? 32. Close enough. Just gonna copy that here. This can be like 18 pixels. A text container that needed to be column, no wrapped, column because the title is on top and the text is underneath it, which gives us this sort of look. It's got a ton of margin on it. Yeah, heaps of margin. So we'll just reduce that margin to 0. Great. The image. We need to increase that to be there. We also want to shrink and value. Max width. Oh, I guess it's also pretty wide, isn't it? I need to change the image size. Go back over to start components from last week. Getting started. Digital way to do nested styles. What am I trying to say? Maybe not. Maybe it should just be straight off the root. So we'll say image equals style.image, which will be like width can be like 250. 250 and the height can be like 180 or something. Cool. Bit wonky, but that's alright. And then that one should be I mean, maybe it should be a background image, like what we did for the logo. So I might just copy these styles, these ones from the logo, so the background image and the background size. We will put them into here. Image container, image path equals let's grab this whole thing kind of refresh, fill everything. Call it logo path and not image path. Does this work? Didn't work. What did I do differently in navigation? Did that, which I don't think is any different from what I did over here, is it? Oops. What's different, huh? We can drop that in, comment that out. There we are. Yeah, that's alright, so I'll just complain about having key values. I put it into the wrong piece, maybe? No, it's not image container. Oh, yeah, whoops. Image path. There we go. So there I was just using the wrong variables. Jeez, I can't read the screen reader classes. Just give me 1 second, guys. Just gonna grab a class that I like using to hide images, but still leave them in there. This project. I put the thing up at the moment just because we are I'm going through a work project at the moment, and I don't want to accidentally show anything that I otherwise wouldn't want to show to the entire world and have recorded. Quirks. Don't worry guys, I know the thing is still up. Do not worry at all. Alright, screen capture's back. So what I did then, I just grabbed a screen reader only class, which will I guess add some attributes here, some CSS values that will hide the image on the screen, but still leave it in there in case we want to include things like alt tags, which, I mean, it's probably not required here because the content isn't adding too much, but I mean, it's good to have. Cool. So here we are. This is all well and good. Refresh the page. You can see our image has got no height or width on it now. It's because the container doesn't. So I'll just add these attributes here. Up into here. Oops. I can leave that. Leave that in. Style image. This needs to be contained instead of cover. And background repeat is no repeat. And we'll do background position as well. Center. Nice. There we go. Great. I'm going to come back over to my page content. Well, actually, I won't. I'm going to put a margin in here. And then maybe I'll just do it. Margin bottom. Okay. It's an object. So that's just going to give a little bit of extra margin underneath here, I think. Yeah. And I might actually bump that up to be 40. Cool. So here you can see we've got one text guy, which sort of matches this. So come back into our Strapi side of things. We might go add another flexible content module, another text image block. So the first one was learn online. The second one is maybe Strapi exploration. Now we'll just call it title field, and we'll grab some more Epson. Generate. Just grab a couple of sentences. Drop it back into Strapi. Can drop in this image. Gonna upload the asset. These images are just some things that I have saved, so I mean, if we were really doing this, look at that. That is so easy. That was very easy. I mean, you could do this with any sort of component now, right? That was really easy to just add in this component today. That has not needed much from me. Jeez. That is really cool. Man. The amount of time and effort that goes into making these sorts of components, and then just being able to create them like this. So critical to any website. Once again, grabbing just any old image. Of course, these are not, I don't think they're owned by me in any way, so I wouldn't dare try to claim ownership of it. So look at that, we've just created these 3 components. And now anyone could use these on any page, right? So now if we go to another page, it's going to be about page. We go about, we've got a flexible dynamic zone again. We'll add in another image. Yep. About page. This is more content. We're going to save it, refresh it. Instantly the content is there, popping back. Look how quick that is as well. Content, yeah, this is fantastic. This is the power of something like this, right? And we're coming up on the hour mark, but I think I'm actually going to go a little bit longer to create another flexible content module, because I'd really like to round that out for today. So I'm going to create a new component. This can be, let's have a look at Tilda website again. What have they got? Maybe like, let's just have like a content block, like just text. Like content. Content block. What did I call the other one? Text image component. Rich text component, of course. We need to remove the spaces going into this category. What icon should we have, huh? This is the hardest part about creating these components. And we kind of already used this one before in our other component. And they need a search. Oh, they have a search. Keyboard. There we go. Keyboard. All this is going to have is a title and rich text. Content. Finish. Save it. Something important is we are going to, the title is going to be optional. I actually didn't make any of these fields required, but I wonder if I can. Required field. All of these are going to be required. So you can't have a text image block without a title, image, or text. Okay, that's just going to be the requirements here. Saving, which is going to reboot for us. So this field is going to be this title field. Now rich text component is going to be not required, and then the content field, that is required. Finish. Save it. So let's get our fields a go. We're going to come back to our home page. We're kind of, you can sort of see that we're starting to build this home page out here. So let's save that. I should get errors. Yep. If I create a, no, my thing hasn't appeared here. Interesting. But text image and the rich text component, they're in this category together. I might need to change it in the fields, in the pages field editor. Yeah, great. Okay, so under flexible content modules in my dynamic zone, I'm going to add another component. And I can just, once again, click that. Well, I guess this is cool because you can add in sort of as you want them. You might not want to be able to, you might have like a contact page that is only allowed certain modules. That's cool. So that should be available now in my home page. Yeah. If I save this, I'll get an error. Cool. Now for this one, we're just going to grab a couple of paragraphs. Over here as well. Oh, cool. So we might actually not even need that title field. I mean, we do want it. It's Markdown. Great. Yeah, you do, because You might want to have like our special info. And then you would have titles within that content. Now, if we refresh the page, it's not going to appear. That's fine. We expected this. We actually got a crash because we are still trying to render that text image block, right? Which makes sense. I mean, we told it for flexible content modules, just render the text image block. Now we can do more ternaries in here, but what might be a bit nicer would be to split this out. We'll create a new flexible content modules component. Within this, we're going to have flexible content modules.js. We'll just grab our sort of standard component here. We don't need any styles for this one. And we will be exporting this component. And for now, we're just going to say, we're just going to say flexible content modules. Copy this guy out. We'll drop him into here for a minute. We're just going to have flexible content modules. We're going to have content module equals content module. Maybe that's really singular. We'll leave it for now. And now we want to change it to singular. Singular because it's actually not going to be a list of modules, it's going to be a single module being rendered. Resolve it because the folder and the file name. So just going to drop the S. Great. Should be fine now. Nope. Cannot resolve. Flexible content module. There it is. Page content. Not really sure what it's missing. Cannot resolve that path. Is the right name. What have I done here? Can't resolve it. I'm exporting it. I mean, I can't see anything that's noticeably different between these two pieces. Page content, it goes up a folder, and it goes into here. Which is the exact same thing it does. Let's just restart this. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, yeah, okay, now it's working. Okay, I don't know what that was. I'm still getting our key prop error. What's that for? Yeah. The key will be content module dot component content module dot id. Okay. And just so everyone can see, and put these onto separate lines. If we look at these in our components here, we can see we're getting that same content module information here. So if we go into our content module here, so we'll call content module. Oops. Content module equals props. Cool. You can see here we've got a couple of text image components and a rich text component. Pretty nifty. Yeah, I mean, we'll just do something like this now, I guess. Switch content module dot component. The column that you use, I can't remember. Case. This one. Default break. No. I do not write a lot of switch statements. So here is where we're going to start importing all of our content modules. And I don't know if the switch statement's the best way to do this, but I'm not going to spend too much time stressing about it. This isn't going to work. So we're returning within the switch, is that the case? Oh, cool. So here we go into our switch statement. We have a case when it's this kind of module. We're going to return text image block. The default is just do nothing. Still like a big old H1. You can see. So this, we never reach this block. It will always be resolved within the switch statement. So here you can see we've got these, which are caught under this text image component, and then because we're not handling this other component, which is in here, and this fourth one, we've got content now title. It doesn't actually. It's not getting caught. There's nothing happening there. So we need to catch this. I'm using the full string here as well. I mean, maybe you would do like contains, but I think it's better to generally be explicit over sort of assuming. So we'll just prove the concept like we always do. We have 1, 2, 3, and then rich text. Cool. Component not found is our default. Yeah, I'm actually just going to grab. That's got a p tag, didn't I? Yeah, that's fine. So now we need to create. So text image block is something we had. we're going to create a new one called rich text block, rich text block.js, and we will add in some styles. Going to grab our basic blocks there. Container, rich text block title, rich text block content. From what's it going to be called? Rich text block styles. Here we're just going to like rapidly put together our content. Oops, I don't want that there. I'll put this over here. We're going to have a title. It's going to be like a H2, I guess. I'm going to have. We're going to that. We have our content, which will just be the children rendered out. I always think with like rich text, just like give the user what they want. You never know what they're going to be putting in there. It could be all sorts really. Like sometimes people put in like script tags. Sometimes people will put in just normal content. And you just don't know kind of what they'll be doing with it. So it's always nice to have a component like this where people can just kind of mess around and do what they want. You want to make sure that your team have got everything that they need, where they're not needing to come to developers very often. I think that's pretty important. You don't really want to be the guy that's getting called all the time because they want to add a new marketing tag or something to a site. All of these will be flex. Might just grab this from somewhere else. Just probably all of those styles is fine. This one can have the same as those title styles we were messing around with before. And this one can have the same as these content styles. That will be like roughly the same. And you want to just give them like nice defaults. I think what's going to happen as well, I think I saw in the data that it's not returning HTML, it's returning Markdown. Which might cause a problem. We might need a way to render that. You can kind of deal with that when it comes. This needs to be renamed to be rich text block. Popping down here. We're going to import it. And we're going to render it. Content module equals content module. And this looks like it's pretty easy to read. You'd probably just end up with like maybe 20 or 40 of these statements, and that's probably enough to get you going. There we go. We have our title. We just need to add our content in. So the title is going to be, we'll peel it off like we did up here. The content module title, we saw that in our Postman request here. So we have component ID title content. Yeah, it is. See there, it's in Markdown. which isn't very useful right now, but we can work around it. I mean, it's not uncommon, I guess. Just a bit annoying. We might be able to change that in Strapi. Markdown. I wonder if I could mess around with this a bit. What other options do we have? Do we have rich text? I don't really have HTML or anything. Man, that's alright. That editor's actually pretty nice, isn't it? Let's just go back and look at that again. Man, I can totally see people writing out nice posts in here. Oh, seconds, paragraph, last paragraph. Let's set these to be H2 and H3. And that's pretty nice. So now let's have a look at what we've built. Home, we've got that page content, which was up here. We've got our related pages at the bottom. We have our page CTA here, which was this one, CTA link. We have learn online, title field, another bucket, and those are coming out of our flexible content modules. Well, we have these dynamic sections, which is pretty nifty. And we've got our information down here, which that's all going on to one line at the moment. When we change that to the column, no wrap. Yeah, that's in Markdown. I wonder how we can change that, huh? Not too sure right now, to be honest. Not too sure how we could change that at this point. Yeah, but I mean that's something we can look at. I don't think there's a React under Markdown. Is there a way? I run a Markdown from React. Yeah, we need to require something. So why not? Let's just do it. I'm going to kill the React app. Adding React to Markdown. I've never used this library, so I'm not really sure how it's going to turn out, but I mean, that Stack Overflow answer looked pretty easy. We'll include it here. It's going to be included in this one component. And if you're using Strapi as your CMS of choice, you probably are fine, right? You probably just want to have something nice and easy that you can just reuse all over the place. So I'm going to include that there. That's installed now. Yarn start. I mean, if that works, that was pretty low effort, really. Starting a development server. You can see it background behind my terminal. Oh mate, that was easy. Look at that content section now. If we come back into Strapi, I mean, we can just make anything we want. Right, if I pick a text image component, another one, this is more content. I'm going to drop in this picture, finish, save it. That's going to appear right under there. Perfect. I think I can even reorder these. Yeah, like, look at these little arrows. So we bump that one up now. And now it's going to appear there. That's just fantastic. If I wanted my rich text at the top now, I can push that right up there. Like, whatever styles you apply doesn't really matter, because we've got it now. We've got our Strapi build. This is exactly what we wanted. Could go through, like, add different styles to these. You could have like image on the left, image on the right. Yeah, go to another page. If I go contact page, maybe that doesn't have anything on it. A rich text component, be like, it's not currently accepting messages, like, hi everyone, this website is not currently accepting any new messages. Save it, and like, that's going to be there. I didn't even refresh the page, because it's fetching the content every time. It's like instant update, very quick. I mean, you can't do much better than that, can you? It's that's really impressive. I'm actually surprised at how easy that was. I mean, I spent a couple of episodes now. We've been setting up the React build. We've been setting up the Strapi build, but that has just come off beautifully. That has worked really well. We could create as many components as we want. You could probably even not have fields in your main sort of top level component. You could probably just use that dynamic field area, maybe like page title or something, SEO content, and then use the dynamic zones for all of your regular content. I mean, that's fantastic. That's a problem that is not easy to solve. Strapi's done a really good job of it. I think Strapi is something that I will be looking at in the future. It's definitely a tool worth using. There are some minor things we've sort of come across, some spelling errors. There was fields weren't updating straight away, but for free software, you can use REST or GraphQL. It's self-hosted, of course, and I agree that it's easily customizable. I mean, we haven't hopped into Strapi itself at all, but all the dashboards, everything is in there. We can fire that up today and start messing around with it. Yeah, really cool tool, really happy with it, and I hope you are. I'd love to hear about your exploration of it all and how you've found it. If you've been playing along with these videos. I did have a comment on YouTube asking for a Github repository, which I'll be including in the description for this video. I'll go back and add it to the previous videos as well, so you can see what I've done for the React side of things. I haven't messed around with Strapi too much. Something we did talk about before with Strapi, if I close the front end build, we do actually have, under components, we've got all the JSON here. So I could just drop this into another project and we've got our component ready to go. That's really quick for new websites. You could drop that React build across different sites as well, and you would be up and running in sort of half an hour. You could have an entirely built site and you're just beaming. If you paired it with something like a material design or a tailwind, you'd be able to just change some colors and you've got a new site really quick. I think that is a really powerful tool. Everything we've been using has been free. There is nothing we have paid for. You're not paying like a contentful, and you're not sort of getting locked into things like Shopify where you've only got a couple of select fields. I think this is great for like headless e-commerce, would be really powerful, and that's some way that I would like to use it in. Yeah, so I'm really impressed. I'm pretty happy with how this whole experiment has gone. This will be, I think, given where we're at, I think this is going to be our last video on Strapi. There's not too much more to explore here. I might come back to it and demonstrate some CSS, maybe some JavaScript concepts on the React side of things. But I feel like we've got a really good understanding of Strapi now and what we would be looking to do with it. In the next series of videos, so this is our 5th video on the Codercise channel, which I have focused entirely on Strapi at this point. From now on, we're going to be looking at Nest.js. We'll have a quick poke at their website and hopefully interest you for next time. Nest is a JavaScript framework which provides some architecture. And generators. You can see here there's like a controller, it's rendering an index page with a message saying get hello. And then that hello I think is often the service. Yeah, there you go. This is pretty nifty little framework. You can use, I think it sits on top of Express. It can sit on top of other things as well, I think. Yeah, here we go, Fastify. Under the hood, Nest makes use of robust HTTP server frameworks like Express. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be playing around with it. We'll be creating a Shopify app actually, and we'll be using Nest to receive webhooks and then do something with some data. And maybe we can use Strapi on the side to represent that data somehow. So yeah, I hope you tune in next time. My name's Nick Hayden. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/haydos585. It's HAYDOS 585. Make sure you follow us on YouTube. We are Codercise, or on Twitch, where we've been hanging out today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to hearing from you next time. Thanks for your time. Bye.